Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business owners, business experts throughout the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people from my unique communication lab in Brazil. And today we talk with Adjoa Smalls-Mantey. She's joining us from New York City. Dr. Adjoa Smalls-Mantey is a physician scientist and writer. She conducted viral immunology research for many years and currently practices psychiatry in New York City. She is also a contributor to the ABC News Medical Unit, and her mission as a writer is to empower people by sharing information about health, wellness, and mental illness. Her new co-authored book is Anjali the Brave, all about vaccines. So Dr. Adjoa, how is your book unique?
Our book is unique in that it is a picture book geared for kindergarten through third graders that focuses on both the science and the history of how vaccines work and were made. So not only do we talk about how vaccines work to build your immune system, but we talk about the many scientists from many different backgrounds in Africa, whether it's Ghana or Nigeria or China, from different countries like England, America, that contributed to all the different vaccines that we receive today. And we focus on a couple of vaccines, obviously, that we all know: chickenpox, polio, vaccines that parents can recognize, grandparents can recognize, and even for our young kids right now, the COVID vaccine, which our young title character is getting when she goes to visit her doctor in the book. And I think another really interesting point about our book is that it features an Indian family and a father in a strong caretaker role, a Black doctor who go and explain the science. And these are not typically roles that you see represented in children's books.
Now, and today, and not only today, but the pandemic really did highlight that. Because even before the pandemic, I know from children, my grandchildren, they're always afraid of getting a vaccine. Just going to the doctor and say, we're going to get a shot and whatever. So if it's the arm, it's in the rear end or whatever. You know, even before, just before you go, it's a trauma. And today we've seen that's been highlighted because of the pandemic, because there's just so much information out there, so many people seeing, being in lines in cars and everywhere, and literally the world being vaccinated on the good side there to convince children that that's good really takes some time.
And I would say that we called the book Anjali the Brave because it's about someone doing something that might be scary to them. For a lot of us, getting shots are a little bit scary because the needle sometimes can hurt, even though a lot of the vaccines now are given with smaller needles, so they hurt a little bit less. But being brave is when you do something that is necessary, even though you might be nervous or scared, because you understand the importance of what you're doing. So I've really been happy to have children coming up to me to say, I used to be scared of getting shots, but now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with it. I wasn't so scared anymore when I went to the doctor. And that really is what we hope to get across in our book, and I'm glad that it did.
Well, I think that's needed because I've seen that here. Children actually become coaches to other children. And obviously when they get through it, whatever it is, they want to tell their friends and colleagues, how they've done it. And so I think the part to the brave is replicable. I think children love to share that. So it is a story about a child.
Yes. Anjali is going with her dad to get her COVID vaccine, but it could be any vaccine. And she's a little bit nervous. And she's like, Dad, why do I have to get yet another shot? Because how many times are we getting shots as young kids? Most of the vaccines that you get are before you even enter first grade, because, we want to make sure that we're protected. So we're used to getting it, but still it doesn't reduce our anxiety. So she has all these questions. Dad says, let's talk to your doctor about why you're getting, this new shot and how it can help you. And Dr. Amber has a lot to share with Anjali.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because even here in Brazil, and as you mentioned, children they have to have vaccines before they can get into school.
Mm-hmm.
And even from birth, their children get their little book, their vaccination book, that has to
Yes.
be filled in, that has to be presented to schools. Brazil is one of the leading countries in the world in vaccination programs, actually. So the development,
That's
because we
great.
do have a number of diseases, because it's tropical climate, there are a number of things here. And vaccine, dengue is another global, and there's a lot of work being done here constantly. And the
Mm-hmm.
ability, and here the country did have the ability of being able to vaccinate very quickly because it's been there, because the country is continental, the people everywhere, parts of the country very hard to get to. In the jungle, the Amazon, you're literally paddling a canoe to get to people. And so that infrastructure exists and has existed for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear from the children that, you need to keep coaching. Kids are new all the time. It's the new kid, right? It's
Yeah.
someone who hasn't had it. So this is an ongoing situation, right?
Yes. It's something that we continue to do to keep us safe and healthy. I mean, so many children used to die in early childhood or even before they became adults from infectious disease.
Right.
So vaccines have been one thing that have reduced childhood mortality significantly from what it used to be. So again, I just hope to help people learn about the history, feel comfortable, take pride in all the different backgrounds, the men, the women that have contributed to various vaccines over the millennia
Right.
that have led to us living healthier lives at this time.
Very good. Well, I want to congratulate you again. I think it's fantastic. And this is ongoing. It's unfortunately, the health crisis, they're never over. And we've seen
No.
that. We think, well, nobody expected this. Actually, people expected, they just weren't prepared. So that's the other side. So I think we do need to be prepared. Psychologically, children need to be prepared. Parents need to be prepared.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So very good. For Dr. Adjoa, how can our listeners find you?
You can find more information about the book at www.anjalithebrave.com. We're also on Instagram at Anjali the Brave, and you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Adjoa. You're also able to buy the book on Amazon.
Very good. So again, it's Adjoa Smalls-Mantey. It's ADJOA Smalls-Mantey. And the book, ANJALI thebrave.com. That's available on Amazon and also Barnes & Noble. So thanks again for being part of our show.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus Semi Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information about them at focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.